The trifecta of health, the important things that we need to focus on as the fundamentals. My name is Kirsty, I'm a fitness professional, sports nutritionist and a Wim Hof method instructor. And this video is talking about the basic things you need to be able to thrive the best you possibly can in life. Now, these basic fundamental needs is one, sleep, nutrition and movement. And then in the middle, we integrate mindfulness. The reason is because intention and planning and awareness, being conscious of the things that we're doing, of the actions that we're going to take, of the things we've learned and how we can grow, that allows us to stay aligned to our values and our purpose to ensure that we're doing things in a way that supports our life and allows us to be able to flourish and nourish our bodies as much as possible. So we're talking about this trifecta because people overcomplicate health, and of course health is actually quite complex. However, what we need to focus on is the sleep, the nourishment in terms of nutrition, the movement where we're challenging ourselves just enough and balancing it with rest and nourishment in different ways, but adding in that level of mindfulness, which can come in many different practices in terms of breath work and meditation and reflections and planning and all this sort of stuff, right? It's very, very beautiful, but it doesn't have to be complicated. So if you're someone that wants to get started back into things, maybe after a period of time off, the best thing that you could possibly do is review your sleeping habits, your nutritional habits, your movement habits, and your mindfulness. So within that, you can ask yourself, are you moving daily? And throughout that week, are you periodizing it with challenging things and nourishing things? And then, or even maintenance things, because there is maintenance things that you can do with your training. Then in terms of nourishment, is majority of your foods from the most natural state as possible and less from packaged foods, right? And eating enough protein, that's another one. In terms of sleep, do you have a solid sleep ritual? And are you going to bed where you can actually have quite a restful sleep and you're having around like 7 to 9 hours of good rest? And in terms of mindfulness, are you taking moments to pause and slow down, taking time to connect, to reflect, to be aware? But also in terms of mindfulness, are you taking times to challenge yourself just enough so you can evolve and grow? And these are the sort of things I'd start to look at. And then you can go, hey, okay, well, I'm lacking in this domain here. Maybe I'll start to focus on here first, right? I personally recommend that anything that you want to start with is definitely make a plan. But if the best thing that you could start with is with sleep, because you're going to feel most energized if you get enough sleep. So out of all those things, if anything is lacking, start with sleep as number one. Get those sleep habits underway and start to feel more restful. Because if you're more tired, you know, lack of sleep can affect so many things. The way that our body goes through chemical processes, fat oxidation, protein synthesis, the way that the body can absorb food, you know, hunger hormones. So the hunger hormone ghrelin goes up and leptin goes down. So we feel more hungrier. You know, our body starts to feel more inflamed because it's unable to, you know, process all the toxins and like all these sort of things. So sleep has a cascade of ill health effects if not looked after, but has a positive health effect if really well in check. And of course, not everything's always going to go to plan, but if we can try and make sure that our sleep is as solid as possible, you know, eating more balanced is going to be a lot easier, and planning and preparing, right? Because our brain's not going to be so tired. And, you know, being able to move, we're going to be able to function at our best as well because we've had time to repair and rest. So naturally, out of all those things, if you can start with sleep first, that will be really super positive to everything else. I would then, you can either choose between nutrition and training. The choice is yours, right? They always need to be in a relationship with one another. It just depends on where you find is your biggest weakness. And within that, it's just sort of like, okay, where does it need the most love? Or you can also have the perspective, hey, where do I feel most strong in? Where maybe it is still lacking right now, maybe I'm going to start with that so I can have that domino effect, because everything is a domino effect, right? We need to look at the lowest hanging fruit, the one that's going to create the most amount of positive effect to keep you going. So start with sleep, then choose between training or nutrition, whatever you feel is best, and then start to integrate them into one another. And through everything that you're doing, you're already integrating mindfulness, right? Because you're taking time to rest and pause throughout. You're reflecting what works and what doesn't. You're taking moments of pause in your training, nutrition, you know, even with your sleep, like all these sort of things, they come into play. Like it's all integrated mindfulness. So they would be my best tips when it comes to getting back started. So I hope that you enjoyed this little mini nutshell. If you need help with nailing the basics at all, these are one of the things that I help with. It's about creating consistency with the fundamentals, because At the end of the day, if our body has enough nutrients coming in, we're challenged just enough, the time to repair and rest, and we're also very conscious with the things that we're doing, we're more likely to propel forward and achieve the goals that we want instead of aimlessly wandering through life and creating the environment for disease or injury. Because we're nourishing the body in so many different ways. The body and the brain loves to be challenged. It loves to learn new things. But it's also like the minimal effective dose. So it's balancing that with rest and play. So if you want to learn the art of this, you can always reach out. This is something that I'm super, super passionate in. And I hope you have the most amazing day.